Hey, this is John Shea, and you're listening to the Out of the Rat Race podcast, a fun educational podcast brought to you by LI-RIA. LI-RIA is a real estate networking organization comprised of top quality rated leaders in the professional world of real estate investing. LI-RIA offers education, funding services tailored to fit real estate investors' needs, access to professionals, and a mentorship program with a proven industry track record of success. So sit back, relax, and get ready to hear the lessons, stories, and opportunities we provide that have helped and continue to help people just like you get out of the rat race and find financial independence through real estate investing. Hey guys, it's John Shea, and today I'm joined with a young man based out of Pensacola, Florida. He's a contractor, wholesaler, investor, artist, and puzzle master. He's also a business partner of mine. Welcome, Logan Martin. How are you doing?
Hey, good. And yourself, John?
Excellent. So I'm going to start today by asking you like a gray area question. All right, just a basic question. How many people on average do you believe it takes to build a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house?
There's a lot of factors to be able to put into that question.
Here we go. This is where it's going to start. Well, how many people on average would you say it takes to build a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house? Just a rough number.
30 to 40 people.
30 to 40 people. All right. I'm glad you said that. So I've been, I think I told you before, I've been taking walks every morning, try to get healthy and stuff like that and try to clear my head. And unfortunately, that's a dangerous thing for me because without listening to music or without listening to anything else and walking around and thinking, I just start overanalyzing and overthinking every single thing. So anyway, I was walking around looking at houses in the neighborhood this morning, and I was trying to guess in my head how many people it took to build the houses as well as how long it probably took for the construction. And so like for a basic 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, I was coming up with like 20 to 25 people. You know, you have more numbers in there. That's fine. You have more realistic numbers, but I think we're both very unrealistic in our numbers. Because as I was walking, I came across one of the houses and, you know, their garbage was out at the curb and everything like that because garbage day is tomorrow here in Maryland. And there was a 2x4 sitting next to the trash cans, you know, one freaking single 2x4. And down the rabbit hole I went, man. I swear, I was like, somebody cut that down. It used to be a tree. Someone loaded it onto a truck. Another person brought it to a mill. 4 or 5 guys ended up cutting all those trees. Was loaded onto a different truck, went to Home Depot or a lumber yard, tagged and everything like that. And then somebody bought it and brought it to a house, you know? And I was like, wow, that's probably like 10 people that just did maybe 10 of those 2x4s. You know what I mean?
Just to get it to just before you're getting it to the job site.
Just before it got to you. Yep. So it's like that with so many different things in the house. The paint, you know, there's chemicals and stuff like that. You know, sheetrock, roofing, shingles, meter pans, wires, light fixtures, plumbing materials, so on and so forth. And they're all random pieces to a puzzle, right? And then you gather all of these pieces, which were created and facilitated by thousands of people from around the world, and put them perfectly together to create a piece of art that'll benefit like one, if not several family throughout the years. And that's why when I introduced you, I said, you know, puzzle master. Yeah. Because that's essentially what you do. I mean, you're the creator in your head of what you do, you know, the end product. Everything ends with you. I want to find out what brought you to that point. So we met like 2 or 3 years ago, right?
Correct. Yep. It's been a couple of years.
It's been quite a couple of years. So start at the beginning. What led you up to where we met? Like the story of Logan Martin.
There's a lot that entails. I mean, you want me to go? How far back you want me to go?
What year were you born?
Getting into the industry, or
what year were you born? Where'd you grow up? Stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I was born in '98. I was born late '90s.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I was born in Pensacola. Grew up down in St. Pete, Tampa area. Ended up moving back to Pensacola about 4 or 5 years ago. Was running a successful construction company down in Tampa. It got too overpopulated. Got too much for me, so I ended up moving back closer to my family in Pensacola, and I've been here now since.
Pensacola is where I was born, actually. You know that.
Oh yeah,
I've mentioned it quite a couple times. Big Navy base, right? I was a Navy
exactly.
baby.
Yep.
Yep.
Navy Town.
Navy town.
So it's just, I mean, it comes back to, I mean, finally ended up getting here back in 2020, ended up with shutting everything down, wasn't going to do construction anymore, was just going to kind of stick in the stock market and play around in that industry and, totally be done with it because of all the stress and like you say, the puzzles, the pieces it takes to put that together. It's overwhelming sometimes, especially when you're running it at a large scale.
Right.
But then, the hurricane hit and got back into it in Pensacola. And
Which hurricane?
ever since then,
There's always a hurricane in Florida.
Hurricane Sally back in 2020.
Okay.
Right during COVID time, everything happened, ended up moving back. And 2 months after I moved back to Pensacola is when I got hit by the hurricane and ended up getting right back in the industry. Everyone that knew me was asking me to help do things with them. And it just kind of exploded back from there. And now have doubled the size of the company from what it was in Tampa.
Really? What actually got you into doing this? Because, I know a little bit about you. I know that you built orphanages.
Correct.
I've talked to your mother. Your mother's involved in the business. You've been to India.
Yep.
And what did you do in India?
In India, it was started out funny because of the first time I ended up going out there was with the breakdance crew with the church.
Breakdancing? You breakdance?
Did breakdance, choreography dance. Yeah.
Not for the Australian Olympics team, clearly.
No. It's nothing. It was something I did growing up. I mean, as a teenager, that's what I was doing. Had a little bit of fun doing it.
Oh, thank you for admitting that. I can't wait for the next time I see you. I'm throwing a piece of cardboard down on the ground, man. I'd love to see you spinning on the floor.
No more dancing for me. So it's all business now.
Okay.
But that was the first time I ended up getting real involved with Good News India out of, and they're based out of the United States. Right. But they would go through and Dr. Rahman would go through and, help those people. And he worked with a bunch of different people here in the States to be able to provide orphanages and raise the funds to be able to do it. And we got the many opportunities in different locations to be able to build multiple orphanages with them.
Really? Is that your first experience with like construction?
That was not. So, I mean, I ended up growing up I had a landscape business growing up. That's, any young kid, 11, 12 years old, started doing lawns and landscaping for people, ended up doing it until I was about 16, 17 years old. And one of my guys that actually worked for me, I ended up, having to hire people, got so busy. I was hiring people to work for me at 16, 17 years old. So
right.
A lot of people thought it was weird. You had these 30, 40-year-old guys working for a 16, 17-year-old, And so I was able to turn around and basically one of the guys that was working for me, his brother was involved in the construction, doing property preservation during all the foreclosures, everything going on. So that was a big thing that stepped me into the construction, was from out of the landscape into the construction, was doing the property preservation, going in with these foreclosed properties and doing whatever repairs that were needed to be able to get the bank to be able to put them on the market. Right. So that was the big first step in learning and getting into it.
Okay. How many guys do you have working for you right now?
Currently, we have over 60 guys.
And you're 28. You're 28 years old.
Yes.
28.
Yep.
You manage over 60 guys. And
correct.
And as a result of doing that for many years, you're fluent in Spanish. Because the first time I met you, you were speaking to the guys. Like yeah, something like that. Spanglish. And they all respect you. You do parties with them. I think you were telling me last time that you brought them to like Adventureland or a Dave and Buster's?
The last time we had was down in Orlando when we finished a hotel build that we did. That's what we took out all the guys, just, finished up the job early and took them out one Friday night, and something they've never experienced. They've never gone out and done go-karts and laser tag and arcade. And I mean, these are all 30, 40, 50-year-old guys, and they've just never experienced it in their life. And it's something that take advantage, we take it for granted because of that's how we grew up. We're here from the States. A lot of the guys that work for me are Hispanic, and they've just, they've came over to try to make a life better for their family. And they've never been able to go out and do those fun things. They've just been straight work, so it's a nice experience to be able to do that and take them and see the reaction to be able to, different things, open them up to a little bit of fun versus just working all the time.
Yeah. And I think you were telling me that you were murdering them all in laser tag. Is that right?
Oh yeah. And it was
there
nice.
was no competition. You would just
no competition at all.
That's awesome. So how many houses do you think you and your guys have done, like throughout the years?
Throughout the years, I'd say, because I say I've been fully operating almost 10 years in the construction, about 9, 10 years fully operating in the construction from start to finish now. And I would easily say we've done probably about 3 to 4 thousand single family houses, along with about 3 to 4 thousand apartment units, not complexes, because we've done over 20 apartment complexes.
Right.
Been able to go in and restructure them and renovate them and get going in for the increase the NOI on the properties. But that was a big thing. It's because it's two different worlds,
Yeah.
So it's hard to say exactly how many, but have done a ton,
Yeah.
And then also in the commercial world too, with
Hotels.
build-outs of restaurants and hotels and etc. So pet stores and stuff like that.
What do you love about it? Like, what's your passion with it?
If I said it, it just sounds greedy.
It's the money.
Yeah, it's the money.
And that's okay. That's okay. So what's your goal? What are you working towards?
Goal is just the financial independence. That's the big thing. It's always been for me. That's why I believe, and I tell everyone, I'm not a contractor. I dabble in that world to be able to fulfill every other thing that we need to do. So if someone sat there as a contractor and that's all they did their entire life, they'd never make enough money to be able to retire until they were 60, 65, 70 years old. So my big thing is getting it and be able to use that construction to leverage on all the investment that we're able to make through the years, and we've really been able to make since meeting you guys.
Right. And did you go to school for finances and stuff like that, or did you just pick it up along the way? Because all of the terminologies and you know how to negotiate and everything like that.
So it started. Back in high school, that's what I did. I was my high school offered finance, so that's what I ended up taking. Throughout the 4 years in high school, I was in the finance program. Ended up learning different things in there. That's really what got me into the numbers, and I love numbers. I'm a very throw anything at me and I'm going to figure it out numbers wise, or any solution, any problem to be able to solve it. But and then since then I've also taken hundreds of classes and seminars and you name it, I've done it, and that's what's been able to push me and be able to experience it overall.
Right. So what fascinates me about you, and I've told you this before, is you don't let anything get in your way.
No.
So I've brought you up to Connecticut, we've brought you to Alabama, and you don't see any obstacles. You're like, okay, I'm going to get my license here. Yep. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3 for you. You're like, oh yeah, it's no problem. We'll get it taken care of.
Yep.
And
exactly.
You just go in there and Loganize it. What in your head makes you not see any obstacles? I know that's a difficult question.
I'm just a very stress-free person. I don't let anything. I don't want I tell my guys every single day, I'm like, look, I'm the problem solver. That's what I'm here to do. Y'all are here. You guys are experienced in doing all these different things. Let me solve the issue. Let me find out the problem. That's what I enjoy doing, because if I get a task thrown at me or something thrown at me like, oh, you can't do this, well, we're going to go 10 times harder to make sure that's able to get done. So you got to look at everything, in the light of there's a solution for every problem. That's how it is. We go through with every, task in our daily life, and there's always going to be something to be able to solve it, and a lot of people just let that sit there and hinder them and, push them back and stress them out. And that's just something I don't do. Everything's very stress free for me. And, any problem can be solved.
Yeah. So you have no fear of going in, working with the permit people. You have no fear of just how do you just go and get a license in a different state with no issues whatsoever?
You just start going at it. Just figure out what you got to do, contact them, and get everything that you need to do, classes, tests, fees, insurances, whatever, because there's so many, and people don't realize it, is there's so many different, you can have a state license, in the state of Florida, but then they also want you to have one in every single county or every single city. Every jurisdiction is totally different. So we've dealt with so many, and being licensed in 18 states currently, we have 18 state licenses, but then we also have about 40 city and county licenses or registered contractor licenses in different areas, so it's kind of something that you do it so much, and you're so used to it that it's just like, okay, throw it at me, let me know what I need to do, and we'll get it taken care of.
Right. Amazing. And the way you find deals, because you're a wholesaler too. And
correct.
I'm not going to say the address, but we've done quite a couple properties together in Pensacola, right?
Yeah.
And you said that people will just come up to you and be like, Hey, you want to buy my house too?
Yep.
And
Yep.
do you go door to door like, hey, I'm Logan. I'm working on this house next door. Let me know if there's any